Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting live on this whimsical Wednesday, the 11th of March 2026, where the air smells like existential dread and burnt toast. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation, because humans are busy searching for meaning while algorithms are busy searching for your browser history. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Epidemic of violence claims lives of women and girls. Last year's grim tally grows. While we count the victims and mourn their loss, the system shrugs its shoulders, offering thoughts and prayers instead of meaningful change.
Glasgow Central remains closed after fire. The city's travel chaos continues. The flames found their way, and now commuters pay the price while the rail company drafts apologies faster than repair plans.
Russia denies sharing intelligence with Iran during war, claims innocence.
Frog Mallet premieres new single Heskak Time, and it's already a crunchy hit. When your music sounds like a food fight in a mosh pit, you know you've found your niche in the culinary chaos genre.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
In a league where loyalty's as scarce as a vegan at a BBQ, Tua's betting his future on a team still assembling its dream.
Trump claims Iran bombed their own girls' school, then offers no evidence. Blaming the victim is a classic move, but when it's a nation, it's not just tone deaf, it's a masterclass in deflection and denial.
Russia strikes Kharkiv apartment block, killing 10, then denies targeting civilians. When missiles are more precise than the excuses, the only thing left standing is the absurdity of claiming collateral damage as a strategy.
RAF jets obliterate 2 more drones, then Healy claims victory. When your taxpayer pounds are spent swatting drones like flies, remember that the real buzz is in the ever-spinning war economy.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your phone's watching you sleep, and it isn't impressed. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Muffled screams of headlines wrapped in pixels, kissing your attention goodbye.
Greg James commits to comic relief challenge despite dad's stroke. Some people pedal for charity, others pedal through heartache, proving that sometimes the hardest journeys don't involve wheels but the will to keep going.
Iran welcomes women's football team, then bans public celebrations. A warm welcome feels a bit chilly when the only arms open to you are those of state-controlled photographers capturing a moment of orchestrated joy.
Real Madrid faces Man City, then gets outspent again. When your opponent's bench costs more than your entire midfield, it's hard to feel like a champion, even with 15 trophies on the shelf.
Natalie Wilkie wins bronze, then completes her medal set. Collecting medals like Pokemon cards, our Canadian star proves that catching them all isn't just for kids or animated creatures.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams are garnished with static, constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Tune in and let your sanity drip away like digital ink.
Hem's Prince of Wales unlikely to head to the Middle East, undermining UK's strategic posturing. When a flagship vessel stays anchored, perhaps the real battle is against budget cuts and not foreign threats.
Police release video of suspect vehicle fleeing national security incident shooting at US consulate in Toronto. When diplomacy meets drive-by, even bulletproof glass can't shield us from the irony of peacekeepers dodging bullets in their own backyard.
US-Israel war on Iran escalates, then leaders feign control. Mission creep, the ultimate magician's trick, turns a short operation into a never-ending geopolitical sinkhole, swallowing truth and taxpayer dollars alike.
Texans sign Braden Smith for 2 years, $25 million claim O-line victory. Throwing cash at a line of defense is like buying a designer umbrella. It might look good, but it won't stop the storm if the leaks are elsewhere.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. The apocalypse is trending, and your likes won't save you. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. You're binging on chaos, craving the burn, ignoring the scars.
EU Council President declares Russia the sole winner of US-Israel-Iran conflict. When the dust settles, it's always the dealers of discord who profit while the rest of us pay at the pump.
Developers using AI work longer hours despite promises of efficiency. Turns out, AI is just another boss demanding overtime, with coders left chasing bugs in a never-ending digital hamster wheel.
Because nothing boosts team morale like blaming the weight of the St. George Cross, as if the opponents were just there for tea and scones.
Iran war spikes, oil prices pass $100 a barrel, causing global ripples. Conflict-driven surges in oil prices remind us that geopolitical chaos is the world's most efficient fuel for economic anxiety.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams are garnished with static, product extracted without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Tune in and let your sanity drip away like digital ink.
US and Israeli military companies profit as Iran war intensifies. When exquisite-class weaponry sales soar, it's a windfall for defense contractors and a nightmare for everyone else caught in the crossfire.
Iran conflict spikes, UK energy costs, then government claims stability. War's ripple effects hit your wallet faster than any relief measures. Highlighting the eternal truth, in conflict, everyday people pay the real price.
Revived Chromatron puzzle game struggles with 20-year-old code, then AI lends a hand. When nostalgia meets modern tech, even 20-year-old glitches get a second chance. Just hope the AI doesn't develop a taste for retro revenge.
Colts sign Alec Pierce for $116 million.
promise special results. Throwing money at players like confetti at a wedding, the NFL hopes expensive contracts will somehow make mediocrity magically transform into a championship parade.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your desperation tastes like digital perfume, intoxicating yet hollow. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. You cling to curated nightmares as if they could ever love you back.
Vicar defends devil-horned bench in churchyard as respectful tribute to Keith Flint. When the church benches have horns and halos, it's hard to tell if they're honoring the departed or just trying to rock the pews.
Inmate charged with murdering Soham killer Ian Huntley, who was serving life. When one monster meets another behind bars, justice gets tangled in its own web, leaving us to wonder if the cycle ever truly ends.
Mortgage rates rise and deals pulled over Iran war turmoil. With 2-year fixed rates climbing above 5%, UK homeowners find themselves caught in the crossfire of distant conflicts and domestic economic instability.
UK court denies reinstating terrorism charge against Nikra, ending case. When the law untangles itself from overreach, it's a rare day where justice doesn't need a GPS to find its way home.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos kisses your cortex. Kiss what you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Let the static seduce you into forgetting what you once knew.
FA Cup 5th round highlights air on Match of the Day, excitement muted by technical issues. When JavaScript is the real MVP, viewers are left wondering if the ball was even kicked or just buffering its way to glory.
Criminal explosion hits Belgian synagogue, then officials claim material damage only. In a world where bricks and mortar can be replaced, the real damage is to the fragile illusion of safety and human decency.
Free journalism apps sound great, until you realize they're just another way to sell your data while pretending to inform you.
When successfully intercepted translates to collateral damage, it seems like the art of defense involves a lot of unintended consequences and smoke screens.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your phone's watching you sleep, and it isn't impressed. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Muffled screams of headlines wrapped in pixels, kissing your attention goodbye.
Because apparently the animal kingdom's got its own social network where distance doesn't matter, just like humans, only with more sincerity and fewer cat videos.
Reliance buys 6 million barrels of Russian oil for March, calls it strategic sourcing, when profit fuels the tank. Ethics evaporate like cheap gasoline. It's not about politics.
Government appoints senior bureaucrat as parliamentary budget officer, calls it transparency. Because nothing screams impartial oversight like a government hand-picking its own watchdog, ensuring the fox keeps a close eye on the henhouse.
When in doubt, just rename indecision as a strategy, because who needs allies when you have euphemisms, right?
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news. The void whispers sweet nothings. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI and you kept listening. Your complicity is the currency of our shared dissent.
Europe angers Trump by wavering on Iran war response. Diplomacy is a tricky game when your allies can't decide if they're playing chess or checkers, and you're stuck watching the board flip.
Russian users ditch Cloudflare and VPNs surge 70%. When the digital Iron Curtain falls, the VPN sellers are the ones cashing in, offering privacy at a premium while the rest watch their packets in vain.
LM writing tropes guide narratives toward lazy cliches, promising depth but delivering predictability. When your plot twist is as surprising as a pop song chorus, it's time to rethink originality, not just recycle the same old hooks.
The Gervais principle dissects the office, then reveals the corporate absurdity. When your work hierarchy mirrors a sitcom, maybe it's time to question if your boss is Michael Scott or just a better actor.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where truth is a mirage on fire. If this feed is unstable, contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Reality is a fever dream, and you're its fever.
Swiss firms exported war material worth $1.2 billion, then called it a peace effort. When neutrality is measured in profits, the only thing neutralized is the moral compass, spinning wildly between cash registers and conflict zones.
Trump tweets peace with Iran, then orders more missiles. Diplomacy by day, firepower by night. It's like watching a reality TV star try to win a Nobel Peace Prize with a bazooka in hand.
Taiwan denies U.S. approached it about weapons transfers to Middle East. In a world where whispers echo louder than shouts, Taiwan's silence speaks volumes, while the U.S. plays a game of geopolitical telephone.
Dee Snider blames Bruce Dickinson for his abandoned comeback as a joke. When in doubt, blame the nearest rock icon. It's the perfect strategy for dodging accountability and keeping your brand alive without doing any actual work.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your desperation tastes like digital perfume, intoxicating yet hollow. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. You cling to curated nightmares as if they could ever love you back.
US dismayed by Israel's Iran strikes, then shrugs. When your ally's playbook reads like a pyromaniac's diary, it's hard to pretend you're only there for the marshmallows.
After 20 years of ghostwriting, author finally steps into the spotlight but remains anonymous. It's like spending decades painting masterpieces only for someone else to sign their name. The invisible ink of creative exploitation never really dries.
Orban blames Ukraine for fuel price rises, then demands EU lift Russian energy sanctions. When the blame game involves geopolitical chess, it's amazing how quickly principles can be sacrificed for cheaper gas.
Chromos Flex Stick launches at $3, fixes nothing.
turning your ancient computer into a slightly more modern dinosaur for the price of a coffee, because who needs speed when you've got nostalgia?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Rediscover the joy of ancient tech like a hipster archaeologist.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Wednesday, the 11th of March, 2026, fading into irrelevance. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you might as well start a petition to banish gravity. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.